just having some, it seemed like you actually had some depth this spring. You had like 3 full offensive lines. You had more bodies to work with. What did that do for you, and how good was it for some of those young guys to get this experience in the spring?
Yeah, even though we had more bodies, but we were able still to get a bunch of reps. Which those young guys got a bunch of reps, guys like Estes who need a bunch of reps, and guys have been in the program, Dorado, or the new guys, Kanaya, Daltrey. Getting all those guys to get maximum reps was good, and then they lasted. We got all 15 practices out of them, which was really good. And so just having that depth and competition always adds, a lot of value and just more confidence. To be honest, they feel more confident what they're doing and learning what we're asking them to do.
Ben Myerston with Tomahawk Nation.
Hey, Coach. Just talking a little bit more about competition and depth. Will you and the team be aggressive in the transfer portal over the summer? And I know you guys have used that before, but how much do you guys look into it, even this time of the year?
I don't think the term is aggressive. We're always trying to just add value to our team as best way. They talk about talent acquisition. So we've always believed in high school recruiting. That's what we targeted the most. That's what we meet about the most. And the portal just become an option to number one, add them some more experience and kind of plug in some places where you need some older guys. But I wouldn't say aggressive. Is just more finding the best available to help our football team.
Brendan.
Hi, Alex. Following up on Ben's question, for quarterbacks, you have 3 scholarship QBs right now. From just like a roster composition standpoint, would you guys ideally like 4, or are you comfortable with 3 scholarship QBs? And then secondly, can you just kind of go over the quarterback room and what you saw from those guys this spring?
Well, yeah, I think we're definitely really comfortable with the guys we had going through the quarterback room. We have belief in all 3, and even starting at the youngest with throwing a guy in there like AJ and just giving him the whole playbook and not holding anything back and watching him operate was good. You got to remember he just got here. He should be at the prom or in English 4, and he's already picking up the playbook, which is awesome. And then you got a guy like Tate who's in a true progression of quarterback play where he's going into his really second season of full work at the quarterback position, so he's able to develop right on time. And then you got a guy like Jordan who's really now hit that last stride where he still has 2 years left and still, progressing as high as he can. He probably could even do another one. But it's just more like it's that true progression of that stagger of what you want to have as you're developing those guys to be the best they can be. So I think we're very comfortable with the room, and I'm very pleased in their progression. And I'm even watching the last practice, how those guys attacked it, and we even threw some more new things at them just to kind of hey, well, this is the last day. Are we still going to do some install, still put some things on them, and they responded well. So I've been pleased with those 3 guys.
Chris Nee.
Alex, how is Tom's trainer coming along, and what do you hope to get out of him as he gets more back to normal with rep counts and such?
I'm gonna give Thomas a special shout out. Thomas had a really rough injury, and for him I'll give a story. He had surgery and got operated on last spring, and he was in our position meeting the very next day after surgery. I had to basically kick him out. He has not missed a meeting throughout this entire process. In every meeting in the morning during the season, anytime we had a meeting, he was there. So what I love about Thomas is he has a tough mentality, tough mindset. And that's why he's able. That's why when you hear Coach talk about him, we light up, and Coach talks about how much he wants him to be successful because he puts in everything he can control. He's controlled, unbelievably. And I want to give him a special shout out on that because a lot of people we talk about rehab and things, but he hadn't missed a meeting. He's been he answers questions. He mentors the young guys. So he's a guy that he was in there taking reps, and so every rep he's taking is really just a pleasure to see. But Thomas will be fine. He'll help us, and I like the way he's attacking his rehab.
Tommy Meyer.
Hey, Coach. Moving past spring, what's the plan with players communicating as far as with the staff, workouts and nutrition and planning of training? What's the plan going on past that?
Oh yeah, well, so they're actually still in a regular normal work week right now. They're going to complete that week. And then we're going into kind of the last, into finals and things like that with school. So we're going to give them that discretionary period where we'll have hours where they can come in and work out and have that option. But also a part of it is recovery. We want them, we got some good work in, and we banged quite a bit. It was a real physical spring. So we want them to heal, get back. And Coach Storms has a great plan of progression as they make their way back to the rest of the summer workout. So I think it's a good progression of now getting into recovery and still working out. But the biggest thing I'm pleased our team is when we brought them up after the last practice, they were already getting together, discussing plans to get together and kind of motivate themselves. You know, I've heard some great coaches say once players start to defend what you're telling them, meaning whatever you're teaching them, if they're defending that when you're not around, then you see the progression of the team. So I saw that yesterday, and I was pleased to see that.
Hey, Alex. I'm wondering your thoughts on the wide receiver room coming out of spring. Obviously, we saw what Micah and Johnny can bring, but obviously didn't get to see Winston, unfortunately. I was wondering, I don't know, your thoughts on the room, if you would consider maybe adding another one, because I don't know if you have an idea of a timetable for Winston.
Let me give a special shout-out to Winston because even though he went through that unfortunate incident, he still didn't miss a beat academically. You know, I saw him down, and he was here yesterday in good spirits, good positive kid, because a lot of people can go the opposite way when things like that unfortunate happen, especially coming to a new place. So, you know, I give props to our team, our teammates, and a lot of people that kept him encouraged. So I feel fired up that Winston, you know, can help us, you know, and I like where his mindset is, and I feel confident in that. As far as the totality of the room, I've been very optimistically pleased just because like I knew what it was going to be. I'm glad it got to showcase in those flash moments. You know, everybody's focused on the new guys with Johnny and Micah and Deuce and things like that because those are the new, you know, like they say, the new toys. You know, everybody wants to say, oh man, I can't wait to watch those guys evaluate it. I knew that we knew as a staff they were going to fit right in. We knew they were good people, good kids. I mean, I don't want to say good kids, good players, and I knew that was going to be a positive experience. But the guys that, you know, like Malik, had a really good spring. He really showcased himself. The guys that were already in that room, Ja'Kai Douglas, you know, he's came up and stepped up a lot this spring and made some plays even last season. Like he's been forced and competitor with Keyshawn, you know, still battling out there and going through what he went through to get back to his full recovery and now, you know, progressing forward. So I've been pleased with, and then you got Pokey who just, you know, he still was lighting it up. You know, he still has those flash moments. So I've enjoyed not only the new guys' progression into the room, but the other guys stepping up and saying, all right, you know, and not only welcoming them to make it a unit, you know, but still competing, you know, to go get the ball. So I've been, just the totality of that room, I've been really pleased to watch, and it's been fun to watch.
Brendan?
During the spring game, we got to see a lot of explosive runs from a variety of running backs, and I guess we saw that quite a bit in practice as well, Alex. What have you seen from the ground game, both with the running backs, the offensive line opening up, perimeter blocking, this spring that you like, and I guess what are things that you guys want to work on and fine-tune in the offseason here?
Just I give Coach Storms a shout-out because, like, as Coach Storms and nutritionists, all of them just a lot of credit because, like, you got, like, LT coming in, running harder and looking like a more physical back. He doesn't look like the skinny guy out there playing running back anymore. He's thick. He's running hard, looking good. T. Ward looking thick. I mean, those guys, what you're seeing is the speed. DJ Williams broke out quite a few times. Trey Benson, we knew what that was. So what I like about that room is I'm watching develop and watching it form is that they look faster, they look stronger, they look, more confident. So you're just seeing time with consistency of the growth that you need to see when that's in place. So, I'm really excited for that room.
Ben?
Hey, Coach, I remember last time we talked after the scrimmage, talked a little about leadership. You mentioned a few guys like Keyshawn, Dylan, Trayshawn Ward. I was just wondering if there's any other names that have kind of stood out to you in that regard, and maybe if there's a story that you remember from this spring, and whether it be in the meetings or off the field or just anything like that.
Well, there's different types of leadership, and when you talk about leader, usually everybody points to the guy that's the most vocal or brings everybody up and gives speeches when they break it down, or whoever breaks it down when you're going from drill to drill. I want to give a shout out to the leaders that I know. I won't call out too many names, but guys that are being leaders outside of the building. Holding guys accountable, whether it be going into their rooms and making sure they're doing everything, outside of the football program to help themselves and taking a personal, involvement in other players' lives and having those conversations with them, and that's what I've been really pleased with. Like I give a shout out to a guy like Maurice Smith, who has I see him take time to go walk into other guys' rooms, Lloyd Willis's, the Darius White, like he goes and he motivates those guys without ever saying a word out in the public or on the field, but he's doing a good job behind the scenes of really, doing that with Trayshawn Ward, who, has a strong voice and when he talks, people listen to him. And of course, everybody goes with leadership of the quarterback, but I always go back to Jordan Travis because I see how those guys react to them when he's jumping in group text, when he's, having those conversations with them outside of everything else. So, as far as an offensive standpoint, those guys have really taken a role to challenge their teammates, to challenge the people in the room to be better without looking for the hoorah of, or I am the leader of the room. So that type of leadership, it really sets the tone of what we can be, and really, we listen to our peers. When our peers challenge us, we usually respond because authority is supposed to challenge you, but when your peer challenges you and say, man, you're not on your game, there's some things you could be doing better, now you're cooking with something.
Bob Fuente?
Hey, Coach, I'm curious, among the tight ends, who do you consider to be your best blocker right now? And also, maybe who's kind of developed out of that room?
I like when you say best blocker. Well, here's what I say about the tight ends. Blocking is not an option. They all are required to do it. Now, some, might block at other positions better than others, but they're all going to be adequate and elite blockers. That just comes with the position. But that's a group that I don't get to talk about a lot because we're spoiled. When I say spoiled, meaning they've been consistent for us, not only on the field but off the field. Like Cam McDonald's been a steady rock. He's made some big time plays, big time catches, and that's also another guy that in leadership who goes behind the scenes to maximize and motivate guys. And I don't give Cam enough credit. And then you got like Preston and Jackson West, the young guys growing up. Brian Corden, who came in and picked it all up. We didn't leave him nothing out there. So that room, and even Wyatt, battling out there. So that room doesn't get enough credit because they're always doing what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to be. They do what we ask them. There's a lot of roles they play in the offense. So, I got to say a lot more about that position group just because, I'm used to them doing the right thing.
You talk about the running back room. I know Trey Benson's a guy who y'all were careful with coming off that injury this spring. I'm just not putting too much on him. And you saw Saturday what he can do with kind of a relatively light load. How excited are you to see him come the fall? Maybe if the training wheels are able to come off a little more, what he's able to do then?
Yeah, Yak must have had some special training wheels because I didn't see much training wheels on him when we was at practice. I mean, he was in there mixing it up pretty much as I saw it, But no, Trey's a kid that you got to make him slow down. You got to make him do. Now he had a different deal, but like you have to tell him to stop. You have to almost protect him from himself because he loves to play. He loves to carry the football. And I'll give him credit because he had some adverse moments. We challenged him on some things, and he's really responded, even from carrying the football to how we do things to, just a different style and approach of how we do it here. And he's been open arms, loving it. And it feels like he's already been here for a while. It's like he fits right in. Like you don't go out there and he's different from the group. So, anytime you got a player that, that always wants to go and you have to protect them from themselves, that's a good problem to have.
Aslan?
Hey, Coach, it's been a while for Caden, but I know he did play some guard when he first started playing college football. Is he a guy that could factor in at all to playing on the interior other than center at a guard spot?
Oh, there's no choice in our position group. We're always going to have them top 7 or 8 guys that'll play multiple positions. Very rarely do you have an only position. So no, all that top 7 or 8 guys that we'll use to run out there on the field will be multiple position guys.
Austin Cox?
Hey, Coach, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to ask you about Jordan Travis kind of specifically. How much of an advantage is it for the offense to have an experienced quarterback returning that started last year, particularly in these months between the spring and fall camp?
Are you at the golf course? Where you at? Where you at right now, Austin?
Can you guys not hear me?
No, I said, where you at? Like, I'm looking at your background.
Just at my sister's house. She actually lives.
Wow. Must be nice. All right, say your question again. I'm at work, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just, go ahead, say it again.
Just with Jordan Travis, how much of an advantage of it is it for him, having him an experienced quarterback returning just for the whole offense?
Everything. That position is vital, and I mean that's every level of this game. That position is always better when you have consistency in that position. and we're reaping the benefits of having Jordan Travis. So we're fired up about him. As you could probably tell, we're in full support of him. So yeah, the consistency he showed, and not only just because just to say things, because what he's done, it shows. How that's why the team rides for him the way they do. So now Jordan's he's a real one. He's a real dude, real teammate. They love him. They support him when he walks in the huddle. Like when you call the huddle and we call a play, those guys wait for Jordan to say the play again. It's not like they just go because they want to hear from him too. He might repeat what Coach just said or what I just said, but they wait for him to say it. And even when I started seeing that, I knew that let's let them go. Let's let them go run it. It's not the Mike Norvell, Alex Atkins, Florida State offense. It's it's going to be the Jordan Travis offense.
Ben Meyerson.
Hey, Coach, with all the different receivers you guys have, the new guys you've brought in, who range from guys like Micah Pittman to Johnny Wilson, to have that group of guys who do all kinds of different things, all different kinds of shapes and sizes, how creative can you guys be in your offensive planning, and how much does it give you and Mike Norvell the ability to try out different things and kind of try and plan for different things schematically?
That's the philosophy of the offense. It's put players in the best position that they concede or see success. So whatever they do well, make sure we put that in that position as many times as possible so they can showcase their talent. And that's the entire philosophy. If you listen to Coach Norvell talk about it, if you listen to every coordinator that has worked under Coach Norvell, they all preach the same message because it instilled that that's what it is. We're going to find what you do well. We're going to work at what you don't do well. We can't just be a one-sided guy. But what you do well, you're going to be able to showcase that as many times as we possibly can showcase it. So that speaks volumes to the success that not only Mike Norvell has had, but other people who have worked under him and came after the success they've had. Shows that the system is built to showcase talent.
Aslan.
Whether it's running lanes or throwing lanes, you guys as an offensive staff, are you able to get a really accurate picture of how things will look when Jordan Travis doesn't have a green jersey? And just how do you guys kind of grade how your offense looks when the defense realizes they can't touch him, and how much different that is when he is live?
Well, yeah, that's more for the outside looking like for example, pretty much when we watch plays, the result of the play is fun. We all like to, get yards and score points and things like that. But we're dissecting it so much deeper. A lot of times when I'm in my position room watching with the O-line, I don't even speak on the result of the play. We got 5 guys out there, and 4 of them did the wrong thing, and the running back still found the crease and got 60 yards. Of course, we're clapping, but there's a lot of things to be corrected. So, what we're looking at is the execution of what we're asking for and making sure we're putting them in the right position. Now, the result will be the result. The result will come throughout that process, and we'll be able to celebrate the results. But we got to focus on the consistency of doing the right and correct thing more, and the results will come more than really focusing on let's get this result. Like, this is the path to get the result. So whether it be your left elbow, whether it be where your eyes are, whether it be the what if questions, what if this guy came up, or what if they shift. So it's more of putting them in challenging situations to get some consistencies more than it is, focusing on the result at the moment.
Last one for Aslan.
And just for the center position, I don't know how many teams you guys go against, how often, they're going to put a guy directly over the center, like at a zero tech, but is it imperative for Maurice to gain weight this offseason, or do you feel that he's totally capable of what you guys need to do to be effective at his current weight?
Maurice came in, and he came into a situation where he came in as a freshman offensive lineman and played. He was the start. I think he played guard against Arizona State in 2019, his first year in college football. And then the next year he goes through where he doesn't have an offseason at all, and then he just really completed his first full offseason. I think not only just Maurice, but it's a totality. If you look at the guys at that position who've been here, the development has been accelerated now because we have the time and the consistency. So I fully believe no matter it be weight, strength, knowledge of the offense, all that is packaged into a deal of consistent direction. So, yes, Mo has a lot of things to get better on, and that's included in it. But it's a totality, all of them stronger, weight, what they're made of. Because some people just talk about weight. You got to be what you're made of. What is the weight? You know, we can get them weight, but, you know, what is that weight? So it's doing things the right, correct way. And yes, you know, Maurice, Darius, you know, Bless, you know, Lloyd, all those guys have a threshold of things they have to get corrected outside of the field. And I think they all are capable, and I look forward to seeing them progress in those areas.